What is their fearless leader, Representative Ilhan Traitorous Omar? What does she have to say, okay? Is she going to clap back or is she going to fold back, right? I want to know. So let's find out. This is Face the Nation, okay, on YouTube. Definitely go subscribe to them. Definitely subscribe to me. Shameless plug. Representative Ilhan Omar says, any link between alleged Somali fraud and terrorism is a, quote, failure of the FBI. So, based on the title, I'm going to guess that she is, if that's what she said, then I'm going to guess she is not disputing the fraud because it's indisputable. She is, however, trying to claim that none of these Somalians are terrorists. Maybe they are, maybe they're not, but I know that a lot of the money was sent overseas back to Somalia to a terrorist organization, so at the very least you're providing material support to them, which is also a crime. So anyway, let's find out what this traitorous wench in the U.S. Congress has to say, huh?
And we're joined now by Minnesota Democratic Congresswoman Ilhan Omar. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Margaret.
We have a lot to get to with you, but I want to pick up on where the Treasury Secretary just left off. He alleged that people who were tied to you or your campaign were involved in this broad...
It would seem so, or at the very least you should know about it.
Brazen scheme to rip off the Minnesota state welfare system. Do you want to respond to that? Do you know what he is referring to?
I really don't, and I don't think the Secretary himself understands what he's referring to. We obviously had people who were able to donate to our campaign that were involved. We send that money back a couple years
I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all.
ago. And actually, I was one of the first members of
And also, listen, all right? If it took you a couple of years to send it back, bitch, come on.
Congress to send a letter to the Secretary of Eg asking them to look into what I thought was a reprehensible fraud that was occurring within the program.
So this was, just for our audience,
So she's not disputing the fraud, but she is trying her goddamn best to save face.
the binary...
Okay, all right, you know what? I don't respect it at all, because it's absolutely just a political pandering moment, but that's fine.
Justice Department called it the largest COVID fraud scheme in the country. And this was pocketing COVID-era welfare funds, more than
I mean, on top of the whole Pfizer scheme, yeah, but yeah, sure, with the whole Anthony Fauci thing.
$1 billion in taxpayer money that was stolen. It was pretty shocking. Of the 87 people charged, all but 8 are of Somali descent, and that has added to the spotlight being put.
But they just didn't know. They didn't understand that what they were doing was wrong, okay? I mean, it's part of their culture that they can do that, okay? Let's just give them a free pass this time, and then I swear they won't do it again. Give me a fucking break.
But specifically on your community.
She's trying really, really hard to not press Ilhan Omar so much.
Why do you think this fraud was allowed to get so widespread?
Well, I want to say, this...
This is what she's saying. Listen, if you knew about this, if Tim Walz knew about this, which you are not claiming you didn't know about, you are not claiming that you didn't know about this. You said, in fact, at the beginning of this video, that you wrote a letter addressing the stuff that you thought was fraud. So you called it early, right? Like, that's what you said at the beginning of this fucking video. Now she's going to ask you, okay, if you knew about it, why was it allowed to continue? Why didn't you stop it? Yes! Oh my God! Rake her over the coals!
It's also...
You're not gonna, but I really want it to.
...has an impact on Somalis because we are also taxpayers in Minnesota.
You are not. We are directly talking about the ones that are not paying taxes, which are the illegal immigrants. There are some people that do pay taxes, but I doubt that you do, given the amount of deductions you're allowed to take from owning your own business.
We also could have benefited from the program.
Yeah, you could have, but there were many people within your community that don't pay taxes that were fraudulently claiming benefits and defrauding the American taxpayer, which do include some Somalian legal immigrants. So I don't understand why you didn't stop this if you knew about it.
And the money that was stolen. And so it's been really...
You agree that the money was stolen by these people. Awesome, awesome.
Frustrating for people to not acknowledge the fact that we're also, as
Please tell me about how the Somalian community are the victims here.
Minnesotans, as taxpayers, really upset and angry about the fraud that has occurred.
Yeah, I'm sure there are many people that immigrated here legally from Somalia that pay taxes that are pissed off about it.
So do you think, though, that there was a failure by the Democratic state government to police itself? This is a brazen, fraudulent activity here.
Yeah, and that is what I alluded to in my letter that I sent to the Secretary of...
That is why I alluded to in my letter that I sent. I couldn't walk down the hall and talk to him. Bitch, your office is so close to the Department of Defense. Are you kidding me right now? You could go to the Pentagon, bitch, and literally talk to him. What?
Egg was to see where things were going wrong. How can this amount of money disappear fraudulently without there being alarms being set off?
Apparently you knew about it, but the only thing you did was send a letter. And honestly, I think that's just so that you could claim you tried to raise awareness about it, right? You weren't on any fucking news station saying, hey, so we got this, and this going on. You weren't questioning Tim Walz when he was with Kamala Harris running to be the vice president of the fucking United States. You weren't questioning him when that crap happened, but now you're trying your best to save face, and it's not working because you have a pile of shit on your head.
And it is something that, we have to continue to investigate. We have to continue to ask those questions.
No, we need to start arresting people, okay? We're done with that. And honestly, if you were a part of it, you should be arrested as well.
Because, as you know, one of the...
You were elected by these people, and you know damn well what they were doing.
Initial defenses by the organization at the heart of the fraud, Feeding Our Future, was to claim the probe was due to racism.
It is not at all due to racism. It just happens that these retarded people are all of one particular race. And religion, honestly.
That this was all about negligence, or that it was like political fear of alienating the Somali community?
No, it was definitely Somalian community being fucking retarded.
So you have to remember that the woman who led the program is a Caucasian woman. And that was her way of making sure that this would continue to happen by using whatever rhetoric that was available to her. We do know that when the money was stopped, they did sue. The AG, Attorney General Keith Ellison, defended the department in that lawsuit. It was a judge that said it should continue, that money should continue to go out.
Hold on. Wait. So there was a corrupt judge that said, listen, we understand that this is fraud, but also the money should continue to go wherever it was said to go. Dude, how deep is this? And also, if a judge knew about it, then I'm certain you did, and I'm certain the governor also did. And damn sure that the mayor did.
And so this wasn't something that people were not...
No wonder the mayor was just reelected. No wonder you continue to be reelected. No wonder Tim Walz is beloved, right? How much fucking money have we given to a terrorist organization? How much money has the community that continues to elect you given to a terrorist organization? And what did you know about it? Stop placating this bullshit. You're not debating that it happened. You're debating your role in it.
There was always those alarms, and we will continue to understand where things might have gone wrong as these investigations continue and as these fraudsters are prosecuted and sent to jail.
Well, it's going to have impact for your community because we've already heard that the head of Medicare and Medicaid say they're going to have...
Yeah, she is not going to win her next election if there aren't that many Somalians there anymore.
A new policy that applies to Minnesota. You heard the Treasury Secretary say they're investigating. But there's another thread here. Because House Republicans and the Treasury Secretary just now talked about a link to terrorism, a possible link.
Al-Shabaab is a terrorist organization that exists within Somalia that terrorizes its own community. It is a known terrorist organization.
He said they're just now beginning.
Again, they tried to assassinate the president of Somalia this year. There have been multiple car bombings and cities that were completely overrun and taken over by the Al-Shabaab terrorist organization, which does have different like nicknames. This year, like in 2025.
To look into it. How confident are you that that's a false claim?
It's absolutely not a false claim.
I'm pretty confident at the moment because...
At the moment, again, covering her bases, because nothing has been widespread in the public that proves it yet. As soon as it is, she'll find some other way to spin it, I'm sure.
There are people who have been prosecuted and who have been sentenced. If there was a linkage in that the money that they had stolen going to terrorism, then that is a failure of the FBI and our court system in not figuring that out and basically charging them with these charges. And so I do know that for many years, this sort of like alarm that there is money being transferred through the airport in bags and going to terrorism that accusation has always existed. There's never been here and there in those accusations. But if that is the case, if money from U.S. tax dollars is being sent to help with terrorism in Somalia, we want to know.
Yeah.
And we want those people prosecuted.
Yeah, we definitely want to know, especially whenever the elected representative to U.S. Congress from that area directly said that she is here to represent Somalian interests from within the U.S. system. I want to know whether or not you have a link to terrorism, lady. Be it through 30 fucking shell companies, I don't care. I want to know what your links to these organizations are, because there's no goddamn way you don't have one.
And we want to make sure that that doesn't ever happen again.
So there are 80,000.
We want to make sure these people don't get caught ever again.
People of Somali descent in your state, but the president has been very focused, not just on them, but on you. In this extraordinary cabinet meeting, he said Somalis, quote, come from hell. They complain and they do nothing but bitch.
No, he said Ilhan Omar does nothing but bitch. And to be honest, she does nothing but bitch.
Take a listen.
These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing.
I mean, to be honest here, yeah. Listen, you have nothing, and then you bitch whenever we give you something. Like, what these ungrateful bastards don't deserve to be here.
We don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Ilhan Omar directly said she wanted her children to be raised within Somalia. Like, she said that. I've done a video on that. Definitely go back and watch it on my channel at youtube.com/Cestal_G2D. Anyway, these people directly say that they want to go back to Somalia. They love their country. They love their culture. They love all that crap. Fine, go back. Why are you here?
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah.
Knocking is vehement agreement from his cabinet members there. I just wonder what the reaction is in your district.
She is not at all going to support this because there are too many people within her district that will not vote for her again if she does.
To have that from the highest office in the land.
It's disgusting.
It's not disgusting, it's just real. You're disgusting for marrying your brother.
It's completely disgusting. These are Americans that he is calling garbage.
No. He's calling the illegal immigrants garbage. He's calling people that are in Somalia garbage. Because honestly, Somalia is a fucking garbage country. It's just kind of how it is.
And we feel like there is an unhealthy obsession that he has on the Somali community.
No, it's actually anybody that doesn't add value to the U.S., Trump doesn't like. And to be fair, totally based.
Unhealthy and creepy obsession that he has.
It is not at all unhealthy and creepy, especially when he wants to talk about you, since you are a traitorous wench.
With me, I think it is also really important for us to...
It's total schoolgirl mentality, right? Where it's like, you're pointing out some stupid shit that this bitch is doing, and she's like, why are you so obsessed with me? God. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Can we start slapping bitches again? Like, honestly, look, I'm all for not hitting a woman, but I will slap a bitch.
To remember that this kind of hateful rhetoric and this level of dehumanizing can lead to dangerous actions by people who listen.
Yeah, like the murder of Charlie Kirk, the murder of Irina Zaruska, the murder of Laken Riley, the murder of a lot of fucking people at the hands of people that should either have been in jail or not here to begin with.
To the president.
And 95% of
Like, they keep saying it's super dangerous, but the only people that seem to be dying are people that are on the Republican side of the aisle, because people that agree with the Democrats are fucking crazy.
the Somalis in your state are
And it's no wonder, considering the people that elected her have an average IQ of 68.
U.S. citizens.
Yes.
Just for clarity there. But the president has restricted all immigration processing, including asylum claims from Somalis already on U.S. soil.
Also, she corrected Ilhan Omar right there, saying it's not against U.S. citizens, it's against illegal immigrants. And she just went, yes. Yeah, right. Not at all addressing the fact that she just said some outrageously wild shit that Trump is trying to deport American citizens, which has not happened.
Well.
Not one fucking time. You know that Abrego Garcia motherfucker? They called him a Maryland man and a Maryland dad because they couldn't call him an American man or an American dad, right? Because he's not fucking American.
Along with 18 other countries. ICE reports it has rounded up about 19 people.
And there needs to be about 19,000 more, Brody. Let's go.
And they put out press releases with the images of about 5 of them that they say are the worst of the worst. Is that the entirety of the crackdown to date?
Yeah, so far we know of the people that they've picked up in Minnesota. About 5 of them are Somalis, and from
5 of them are Somali. Oh, she didn't say Somali. She said worst of the worst. And Ilhan Omar said, yeah, well, they're Somalis. Directly saying Somalis are the worst of the worst. Look, a little bit of a Freudian slip there from this bitch. Ha ha.
what I have read, and from the people that I've spoken to, all of them had already had orders of removal. So these are not.
It's funny thing is that a lot of people that are getting deported have had previously orders of removal. It just was never enforced.
People who are undocumented, but people who have committed crimes and who should have already been sent out of the country.
You know what she's not doing? She's not suing anybody for defamation about the marrying her brother thing. That's all I'm saying.
I want to ask you about something else that the architect of the president's immigration policy, Stephen Miller, said.
What of it?
On Thanksgiving Day, he posted, "No magic transformation occurs when failed states cross borders.
Yep.
At scale, migrants and their
You bring your shit ideas here, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to start thinking like an American. And people that have shit ideas and come from shithole countries that do not have any intention of assimilating should not be allowed here. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I think it's a pretty relatively normal thing to say.
descendants recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands." What do you make of this argument of failure to assimilate and sort of ruining America? How do you understand this?
I mean, when I think about Stephen Miller and...
He's also right, by the way. Okay? This is what he says, this is the greatest lie of mass migration. You are not just importing individuals. When you import people en masse with no vetting process whatsoever, you are importing societies. They're going to come here. They're going to live in groups. They're going to set up little Mogadishu in fucking Minneapolis. No magic transformation will occur when these failed states cross the borders. At a scale like that, these migrants and their descendants will recreate the conditions and terrors of their broken homelands. Why? Because they're not encouraged to assimilate or follow our laws. They show up here, they don't have to pay taxes, they leech off of our social security nets, we don't do any sort of vetting whatsoever, so whenever we import terrorists, they're going to start raping and killing our people, which is what's happening right now, and Trump's fucking done with it, and honestly, totally based.
his white supremacist rhetoric, it
That's how you
reminds
hear
me...
It is not at all white supremacist. He did not say anything about deporting brown people, only deporting illegal immigrant terrorist fucks.
Yes, it reminds me of the way the Nazis described Jewish people.
I'm sure it did. It does remind you specifically of the Nazis. Nobody else, just the Nazis, because this is the right. So we have to point that out as much as we possibly can, despite the fact that you guys are actively killing American citizens, and someone needs to put a stop to it. It is not at all like the Nazis did with Jews, where they just started throwing out propaganda with no actual reason. This has a reason. You break our laws, we're now going to enforce the consequences of that.
In Germany. And you know, as we know, there have been many immigrants who have tried to come to the United States who've turned back, one of them being Jewish immigrants. We know the way that people were described who were coming from.
Also, the Jewish community has an average IQ of like a little over 110, I think. So make of that what you will. They're double as smart as you.
Ireland.
One Jew is worth 2 Somalians, easy.
Irish immigrants. We know the way in which people were described back then when they were Italian immigrants. And to me, you know, we're yes, of course, ethnically Somali. We are in this country as Americans.
Yeah.
We are citizens. We are productive part of this nation, and we will continue to be.
Congresswoman Omar, thank you.
Yep, America is better than Somalia, and some people are just going to have to deal with that. American supremacy all the way. Fuck you. Not white supremacy, American supremacy, okay? I don't care what the color of your skin is. I care whether or not you actually give a fuck about freedom, right? I care whether or not you actually care about individual liberties, right? I care whether or not you want to live in a peaceful society, or if you want to just murder people that don't believe the same way that you do, like most people in Somalia do. So what does Trump have to say about this bitch, okay? This is Trump here.
We have got to the point where
That's
literally
fine,
anybody can build a fully
all right,
working
well,
app
it's
without
fine,
knowing
it's
how to
fine,
code.
it's fine.
This is
All right.
Donald Trump.
Anyway, this is Trump here doubling down on Ilhan Omar, claims that she used her Muslim brother marriage to enter the U.S. illegally. Now, again, I'm fairly certain that it was Hirsch, who was already a legal citizen, who married her brother so that he could get a green card to come in and go to college. But maybe I don't know, maybe I just misunderstood when I read it, but I have done a video on that where I covered that, right?
Launched severe
I think I watched Matt Walsh explain it.
attacks on Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, this time suggesting she could be removed from the United States. Speaking to reporters aboard Air Force
I do think she could be jailed, actually, at the very least, for treason against the United States of America. Or at least, definitely a seditious act, right? Also, material support of a terrorist organization. So, you know, take your pick at this point.
One,
There's a whole group of them in Congress that you could get for that, right?
Trump
Get Nancy Pelosi for insider trading. There's a lot of people. I'm just saying.
repeated the long circulating allegation that Omar entered the U.S. by marrying her own brother, calling it fraud.
Frankly, don't need their people coming into our country telling us what to do.
When you talk about
I'm talking about like Somalia, where you have a congressman goes around telling everybody about our Constitution, and yet she supposedly came into our country by marrying her brother. Well, if that's true, she shouldn't be a congressman, and we should throw her the hell out of our country.
This comes as Trump moves to crack down on the Somali community in Minnesota,
Yeah, Trump just says what we're all thinking, and I love it. I love it.
a state controlled by Democrats and home to one of the largest Somali populations in America. Trump recently announced an end to temporary protected status for Somali immigrants.
Yeah, good. All right, these people from these shithole countries that are causing Minneapolis to turn into a shithole city definitely don't need to be here. And if we can do something to get rid of them, then we should.
Sure.
If we can do something to get rid of the people that don't deserve to be here, and if we can do something to get rid of the people that aren't here legally, we should.
What do the Somalians have to do with this Afghan guy who shot the national?
Nothing, but Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. They're ripping us off for a lot of money.
Yeah, right there he is saying directly, Somalia has nothing to do with the Afghan national shooting the National Guard member. However, they are causing other problems that are of also concern.
A tremendous amount of money going back to Somalia. What the hell are we paying money to Somalia for? But they're ripping off our country at a level that few people.
We're paying money to Somalia because Ilhan Omar is in the U.S. system directly to support the interests of Somalia.
have been able
She said so herself. I mean, I'm just saying.
to see before. That's about the only thing.
Don't shoot the messenger.
You talk about competence. We have Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country and our Constitution, and she comes from a country with practically no country. It's devastated, it's crime-ridden, it's a mess, it's a disgrace, and we took their people at tremendous. We're not taking their people anymore. We're not taking their people, and we're getting a lot of their people out because they're nothing but trouble. Okay.
I'm telling you, by the time Trump is done, the average IQ in America is going to jump up like 12 points.
Omar arrived in the U.S. in 1995 and became a naturalized citizen.
Yeah.
However, critics claim she entered under a false family identity, using the surname Omar, even though it allegedly did not belong to her biological family. Ilhan Omar has repeatedly dismissed all of these allegations as lies and political attacks.
It is really, really a sad day in America. We are witnessing a constitutional crisis. We talked
Democratic dog whistle after Democratic dog whistle.
about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one, and here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like. When you gut the Constitution.
I'm fairly certain you being allowed to say that means that Trump is not, in fact, a dictator or a king.
And you install yourself as the sole power. That is how dictators are made.
Legally, a naturalized U.S. citizen cannot be deported unless the government proves in court that the person deliberately lied or hid information that was essential to gaining citizenship.
I mean, I've seen the marriage certificate. She crossed out because she put like Omar Eti or whatever the hell his name was, that her brother, like whatever her brother's name was. She initially wrote down on the marriage certificate her actual last name, and then she crossed it out in pen, and then they decided to use the same fucking one for whatever reason. She crossed it out and wrote Ilhan Omar instead, which is wild.
This is a very high
Like, I've seen the marriage certificate.
bar, and such cases are rare.
Pakistanis are being targeted for harassment, repression, arbitrary detention, and forced disappearance.
I mean, any country that's controlled by a terrorist organization does not need to be in the United States, period, right? So,
for numerous reasons.
and honestly, if you still live in these countries that are controlled by terrorists, that's your fucking fault.
Some are being targeted for their political affiliation. Imran Khan is an emblematic example, but by no means not the only example. Some are being targeted for their work as journalists and human rights defenders. Some are being targeted for defending their land and culture as the Balochistan. Still others are being targeted because they are a religious minority. What it amounts to is thousands of Pakistanis having been subjected to a wide range of human rights violations. It is a deeply alarming and
I wonder who wrote this fucking speech for her, because it was not her.
Outrageous pattern. The United States
What person that is definitely not from Somalia wrote these big words?
has a clear role to play here. Pakistan is one of our most important allies.
Pakistan is absolutely not one of our most important allies. What are you talking about? I bet Somalia is a super important ally too, huh?
This gives us a moral obligation to stand up for the people that are being targeted.
Nope. The United States has no business being the world military force. I'm sorry, it has no business being the global police force. I really think we need to let failed countries fail.
It also gives...
Now, don't get me wrong, I want the U.S. to swoop in and clean everything up and make it part of the United States again, but or part of the United States, but still.
This is an enormous leverage. Mr. Linden, I want to begin my question by talking about another group of people that the Pakistani government is targeting, the Afghan refugees, who I had the honor of visiting when I went to Pakistan a few years back.
I had the honor of visiting the Pakistani refugees, and I remember them all being doctors and lawyers.
Hundreds of Afghanis are living in Pakistan, some of whom have lived there for decades and are now being subjected to forced deportation.
They should leave.
Can you touch on what are the international law implications of deporting people to a place?
Fuck international law. The only one that matters is the U.S. law, and honestly, it's the only one that you should be concerned with also, given that you are a member of the U.S. House of Congress.
They are likely to face torture or imprisonment.
Thank you, Congresswoman Omar. You're absolutely right. First off, there have been generations of Afghans living in Pakistan. They form part of the fabric of society.
Why the fuck do we care?
And yet they have been denied their rights. They have been demonized and constantly.
I wonder why an oppressive terrorist regime that controls Pakistan would deny people their rights. I fucking wonder why. And also, why are we claiming that these people are a great American ally? What is happening? What?
Threatened with deportation. Amnesty recently actually put out a report focusing on the individual stories of some of the Afghan refugees who are impacted. One of those was a 27-year-old who we called Parwana Rahimi, although that's not her real name. She focused on socioeconomic challenges faced by Afghan women in Afghanistan. She started receiving death threats as the Taliban increasingly restricted women's journalists and women in general, and she left Pakistan as a matter of survival. But since then, she has had to deal with threats of deportation and harassment from the authorities, despite holding a visa and legal documentation. She has said herself, "I request the Pakistani government to see us as human beings, not just as refugees, and to extend their support to Afghan refugees facing genuine difficulties." She's also urged agencies such as UNHCR to expedite their processing to relocate refugees to safer countries as the uncertainty and challenges in Pakistan continue to mount.
Why the fuck do we care that there are Afghan refugees in Pakistan? What?
Pakistan.
Oh, is it because those Afghan refugees really need to come here instead because they're just not getting the right rights in Pakistan? Yeah, is that what this is? Is that what I'm fucking hearing here?
Put into place in 2023.
I don't care. I don't care at all. No, they cannot come here. Fuck them.
An illegal.
All of them. Fuck them all.
What's called.
If you still live in these areas, even after being under an oppressive terrorist regime for the last few decades, if you are still there, that is your problem.
Called, quote unquote, illegal foreigners repatriation plan, which initiated what may be one of the largest forcible returns of refugees in modern history. Over 1 million have already been deported in violation of the principle of non-refoulement, and that goes, I think, to your question about the international law basis. That is a principle that the United States and Pakistan both have the obligation to uphold.
No, they do not.
It is.
They have the obligation to uphold their own laws in their own states, in their own countries, in their own cities. Get out of here, dude.
It is central to our obligations under the ICCPR. And again, this is a particular concern for Afghan women and activists. I think it's just critically important.
Yeah, because they beat and rape women and children. Like, what? Some cultures are better than others, guys. I'm just saying.
For both ends of this equation to be upheld, the U.S. has to continue to allow in those Afghan refugees in Pakistan who have been waiting in line and have been vetted and are undergoing vetting for U.S. visas. They also have to call on the Pakistani government to basically get rid of this quote-unquote illegal foreigners plan and extend the validity of the proof of registration cards held by 1.4 million Afghans in Pakistan currently. And for anybody watching at home or in the room, you can join Amnesty International's call.
Nobody wants to help these guys. I don't care.
By writing directly to the Pakistani government, asking them to uphold the rights of these refugees and immediately stop all deportations and renew the validity of these proof of registration cards, which expired on...
If you are watching my channel and you are going to write them something, I want you to write them, hey, join America. Become an American state and all of your problems will be fixed. You need to tell them that. You need to make them believe that, right?
June 30th. So all those 1.4 million Afghan cardholders are in a very precarious situation.
I do hope that those calls are answered. There could be some hope in having international pressure that reverses the course. I mean, you know, the President Trump, Secretary of State Rubio have just fired everybody that's working in the care office at the State Department. Last year, under the Biden administration, I was able to meet with the Pakistani ambassador, advocating for them to stop the deportations. It is hard for us to have any sort of credibility right now in engaging in that kind of advocacy when we ourselves are deporting Afghans back to Afghanistan. And we certainly have, as you'd alluded to, hundreds of people that are waiting in different military bases that have been identified. Sending them back is sending them back to a death sentence.
Oh, well. Look, if I'm being completely honest with you, if they are causing problems such that they need to be deported, fuck them. They are one of the... they will probably do better over there because they're one of the terrorists, just like they are, right? Follow me here on Kick. Go to x.com/Sestel or real_Sestel to follow me there as well. I make based opinions. If you like that, you can follow me over on YouTube at youtube.com/Sestel_G2D. If you don't like YouTube anymore, you can go over to Rumble and follow me there if you'd like. I'm everywhere the videos are made. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Again, I will be probably on my regular schedule again next week. So, anyway, see you guys later. Bye.